It's time for Did You Watch It?
How does this show work? We watch what we like, we talk about what we watch, and maybe you'll like what you hear. I'm Liz.
And I'm Neil.
Last night we watched the final episode of The Bachelor Season 19. The show aired on Monday, March 9th, 2015. Here's what we thought about it.
I did it!
You did it! Your second Bachelor season!
Oh my God.
Woot woot!
Can I tell you how much I hate the live studio audience?
I know. It really... When they first did it, it was kind of fun. But I agree. It's getting kind of old now. Like, I'm ready for something new, although not as new as what we found out later, which we'll talk about.
We start with the family visit with Whitney.
Yeah.
And of course, she got out of the limo and had to start off with the hi!
And the running and the jumping and the wrapping the legs around him.
Couldn't you at least get closer to the car?
I know.
Oh.
It was cute though. You know I'm gonna love it, right?
Believe me, this episode, all you.
Well, it was great to see him home with his family too. You could really see it on his face that he was glad to be there, and then immediately it just kind of went into, you could see how big of a dilemma this whole thing was.
Personally, I don't understand the dilemma. I know last week I said I didn't care, and to a large extent, I still don't.
Come on, you care a little bit. Just a little bit.
I really don't. Here's why I don't. Because we will never know just how serious they really are.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the reason why it's hard for me to get all invested other than for the minimal entertainment that it gives me and the maximum entertainment that it gives you.
And it's maximum too. This is my favorite part. We're down to the decision. Families are involved. So Whitney's meeting with the family, I think, went extremely well.
Purely from the entertainment side of me that's watching this, I know I'd given Whitney a lot of heat in the past about talking too much and spending more energy trying to convince herself as well as whoever it is that she's talking to about what she's saying, because she just talks too damn much. But if you listen to what she's saying, it's like she's saying the things that you want to hear if this were actually real. And
didn't you see in this episode just her sheer excitement at the fact of being there and being with the family? And what I loved was just being a part of the family. And, when she was talking about it with the mom and with the sisters and kind of talking about her own mom and saying, I don't have parents, and so this is just a really huge thing for me, and I'm just looking forward to being a part of the Souls family. I seriously teared up at that point.
Was there a comma in that sentence? but no, I agree. Yes, I agree with you wholeheartally.
I'm sorry. I'm passionate.
Interpret that. I know. This, like I said, this is your night. Then we get to Becca. And the entertainment kind of stopped.
And the fact that he kind of was talking about Becca when he was doing the time with Whitney there, right? When he was talking to his brothers, when he talked to his mom, when he talked to his sisters, it was all, Whitney's great, and yes, she has so many qualities, and blah, blah, blah.
But
I really need you to meet Becca. And
it's just whole hell of a lot of buts.
Right? And then, especially when he was with his brothers in Whitney's visit, and his brother-in-law Jason said, it's kind of like the girl at the bar that no one can talk to. That is so infinitely attractive to us as men.
Infinitely attractive to them. As men.
To them as men.
To them as men.
Not to you.
Not to me.
Yeah.
There was a time when I was a guy.
Okay.
And I would hey, but see, I have rejection issues from way back. So that didn't last very long.
Okay. So the girl at the bar that you couldn't talk to was not infinitely attractive to you.
And it wasn't even couldn't. It was first couldn't, then didn't want to.
Okay.
So, because, You know, it's like, hey, you don't want to talk to me? I don't want to talk to you neither.
Not a turn on.
No, because then it's too much like begging. And then I sound like Babyface, and I don't even need to go there. See?
Yeah. The other part of the whole thing with Whitney, too, was when she said she felt so confident that she was the future Mrs. Souls. It was at that point that my heart just kind of sank. I was like, please don't say it. It's kind of that thing, you know, when you get too confident and you say, this is how it's gonna be.
Is that the I got this?
Yeah, it's the foreshadowing of evil thing. Dun dun dun.
But there were no clouds.
I know, but in my mind, it just kind of felt like, oh gosh, don't say it. It's going along so well, you know, and the family's responding to her so well. I thought, ugh, don't say it.
But, you know, you really don't have to worry about it that much.
I know, but I was at that point in the show.
So the date with Becca, very different energy.
Totally different.
It's very clear that he's more into Becca than Becca's really into him.
Right.
And I only say that because Becca doesn't know what the hell she's feeling, apparently.
She does. Well, this is the first time, right? So she doesn't get that all the stuff she's feeling is her falling in love with him.
You know, and it's like, once again,
You were over it at that point.
Yeah, I was so over. And then I realized that she's actually living in San Diego.
Yeah.
And she's not in Shreveport. So, you know, she's on long distance cock block. And it's like, I'm sorry for her.
But the time with the family, with Becca, was totally different. As far as the chemistry factor, the time with the sisters. I mean, I really like Lori, by the way, his sister Lori. I feel like she's kind of the voice of reason. Becca's got all these questions, and I just feel like she kind of saw through all that.
When I look at Whitney and him, Whitney clearly feels more strongly about him than he feels about her.
Yeah. At that part in the show, yes.
I don't think that that's necessarily changed because, you know, he's kind of like resigned himself to the fact that Becca's a no-go. So, hey.
Really?
I'll go get some Whitney.
Oh, don't say that, though.
Don't say it like that? Is that what you meant? I mean... It's
just hard. No girl wants to be the consolation prize. Do you really think he feels that way, though?
I don't doubt that he felt strongly about Whitney. I know if they had another 2 weeks, he'd have picked Becca.
Wow.
I am confident in that regard.
And it could be how the editing was, too.
Right. You got editing, you got the fact that there's cameras and makeup people and craft services and the best boy and the key grip and all these people in your business. I'm listening to what Whitney's saying. Or at least what they're allowing me to hear Whitney say.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to what Becca is trying to say, or what they're allowing me to hear what she said, you know? And it's like, yeah, Whitney is definitely far more invested from the first second of the show.
Yeah.
It's like the first time I saw her and she's like, she's all excited, jump, and doing your favorite thing, wrapping her legs around him and all this stuff. But the thing is that that's not the response that Becca ever gave.
It's just a totally different energy.
Yeah.
You know, and I loved what the sisters said, too, when they said, you know, we've seen the California girl who doesn't want to move to Iowa thing before. And so that totally scares them from this perspective of, what are you going to do?
Oh, yeah. And I got a little background on that little thing there.
Ooh, okay. Go for it.
That California girl that don't want to move back to Iowa?
Yeah, Andy.
No.
Oh, it was somebody else?
Because remember, Andy wasn't from California.
Oh, that's right. Did you do your research?
Of course I did, because that's what I do.
Becca's time with his mom, so much more reserved than her time with Whitney, for sure. And she says she's crazy about him, but it's not to the point where she's in love with him. And then his mom kind of hits her with, if you had 2 days to make a decision, what would you do? I feel like his mom was super truthful with her. And the fact that she said she was more concerned with Chris than she was about herself, she's just not aware of what she's feeling and that what she's feeling is love. I totally believe that. But I think Becca's just not ready for that.
Becca's not ready for a lot of things.
Yes.
And she was incredibly fatiguing to me with a lot of this stuff. And I didn't understand a damn thing that came out of her mouth, her whole segment.
With the family?
With the family, it was almost like you were talking to a 14-year-old.
Right?
This is what it means when you're in love.
I know. It was sad from that perspective.
Yeah, it's incredibly sad. I thought Caitlyn had a wall.
Yeah.
Until this.
Yeah. It's like she's paralyzed.
We're not talking Berlin, we're talking China.
I mean, I just
damn.
think there have been times, in both of our lives, I'm sure, where we've held ourselves back from things or we've just been unsure. But this was at a whole different level. She just really cannot make a decision.
I understand being scared, and I understand that, this would be like a huge leap of faith. But the thing is that she doesn't want to make a mistake more than she wants to be with him.
Right? Then let's go to the final dates. Do you want to do Whitney's first or do you want to do Becca's first?
Well, we can do Becca's in about not even a minute.
Okay.
The only thing I saw that they did was he went to her hotel room.
Yeah.
And it was the Al Capone suite. And so she's sitting up there trying to explain that I'm just not ready to pick up and move to Iowa just because, I need to be sure. And it's like, so if you're not sure, then do you know when you're going to be sure?
I know. There's huge chemistry between the two of them. But when they were sitting on the bed talking to each other, it was just torture. Watching him kind of look at her and just ask in 15 different ways, but I just need you to kind of give me as much as you can,
The chemistry was ammonia and bleach. All it did was stink,
Oh, and then he finally got to it. He's like, okay, why don't you feel like you're in love with me? And she just kept saying, I don't know.
Which is an absolutely stupid question. Why don't you feel like you're in love with me?
Well, I think he was just trying to get her to articulate what she was feeling, and that's the only way he knew how to ask her.
I know, and if she was able to articulate it, that means that she's able to identify it, which means that her date would have been a whole hell of a lot more interesting than it actually was.
I just, and then in the end, he ends up saying that they can figure it out together.
No.
And she says that she can't wait. And I'm thinking, how do you say you can't wait to figure it out together? But guess what? I can't give you anything right now.
It's like, oh, come here. Oh, get away. Yeah.
Right?
Boo.
Yeah.
Boo.
All right.
As the song says, if it don't fit, don't force it. Just relax and let it go.
The final date with Whitney.
Hi, how are you?
I know, was so different, right? She was just so excited to see the farm, and be a part of his day. Get on the big giant, combine?
The combine harvester. Okay.
Yeah, I loved this part.
Note to farmer, as skeptical about this process as I am, if you hadn't had your aha moment with Whitney before you went to her hotel room that night, you never will. I had about 6 aha moments while you were waiting.
It was pretty incredible. It's like,
yeah,
it felt like home to her, walking around his place, seeing all of it. I could totally see her there. And then when they go back to the hotel and she's showing, him kind of around her room or whatever, she had the photo of them together in a frame on the dresser. And she said that no matter where they have gone, she has put that photo out, which I thought was so adorable.
I don't know.
They were talking about, she was saying that she loved just the simple life, being at home. And I just felt like it was just easy between the two of them.
Exactly. Because here's one that's just jumping on your grill. And another one that's like, I don't know. I'm still trying to, I don't know. Please.
I know.
Come on.
But he did tell her he was excited about her and what they have. So I liked that part about it.
Because the cameras are running.
Well, and
he's not going to say, well, I guess you lasted longer than any of them.
Oh, stop it. Don't ruin this for me.
Thank you. At least you're admitting it now.
So my second favorite part is, of course, the Neil Lane visit. Love it. He brings out all the rings. Gorgeous, gorgeous rings. Unique. He's got a story about each of them. I just loved that whole part of it. And then, it's leading up to the decision, right? And I loved where they had it. The whole barn where he said he raised his first cow or something like that.
He raised his first cow and now he's saying goodbye to a heifer.
Hey, shut up! So the barn looked amazing. It was such a special part of his life. His face was just priceless.
Yeah, and it was drafty and cold. They couldn't put some space heaters up in that mug.
They probably did. Way to ruin the moment. What is wrong with you? Do not take away this finale from me, or I'm just going to deck you.
On a more positive note, okay, you had to know that Whitney was the one, because she was coming down the staircase in the hotel, and just as she hit the bottom step, she did the whole, or should I say,
see, it's a match made in heaven.
Farmer was not fooling anybody sitting in front of Neil Lane with that whole voiceover going about, I'm sitting here picking out rings, still confused as ever.
Stop it. Regrettably, Becca gets out of the limo and she goes in.
And it's still 15 minutes in the show. That's the regrettably part. It's like, damn.
So she goes into the bar. She looks
end?
Gorgeous. And he has to kind of lay it on her that it's just not going to happen.
It was real. Thanks for the laughs. I'll walk you down.
She handled it with such grace, though, so I was impressed by that.
You have to feel something in order to react. I still don't know if I really love him, I think.
I know. Yeah, she just is not in touch with those emotions at all. And then we get to the good part. Whitney gets there. She's shaking like a leaf.
She's freezing. That's
she's
why
freezing,
she's shaking like a leaf.
She's also super nervous. You can hear it in her voice.
Yeah, no, that was cold. Trembling, cold. It's cold. It's not nervous. She's cold.
She's also very nervous.
She's more cold than nervous.
So Chris Harrison walks her in, and she goes up the stairs, and there's Chris waiting for her.
And it's colder upstairs than it is downstairs.
Heat rises. It should be warmer up there.
And not when it's cold.
So they have the moment, right? They're looking into each other's eyes, and he finally tells her. He gets down on one knee, and he proposes. And she accepts.
Yeah, because she wants to get to warm.
My little heart was warmed with excitement and love and just really happy for them both.
He gave her a ring, then he gives her a rose?
Yeah, that's what they do.
Real? Wait, that's by design?
Yeah, that's the last part of the show. The
Really?
The ending thing that they say is, will you accept this final rose? It's ceremony.
Because last year there was no ring, so I didn't know.
Oh.
That is stupid.
It's tradition.
I'm just giving you this Neil Lane original. Oh yeah, by the way, as long as we're here, you want this? Bump that rose. I got the ring.
Hey,
dog.
stop it. It's just part of the process. You are just taking a dump all over this, aren't you?
I got the bling bling.
Can you just let us have the excitement
That
with the
rose
finale?
is gonna die in a day. But diamonds are forever, baby.
This is the finale. Everything in the entire season is leading up to this moment. You gotta embrace it. Be excited.
I gotta embrace lunch. So we get to after the final rose.
Yes.
Here comes Becca. She comes in.
It was so awkward.
Thanks to The Bachelor, I now think that I can find love.
Well, but wait,
please.
You should be happy because she's doing exactly what you say is the thing to do. Use this experience as a jumping off point to find love in the real world.
Ordinarily, I should be happy. but she was so disappointing in that finale.
You didn't care.
I don't. I still don't. I am the antithesis of care at this point, as far as Becca's concerned. Props to Whitney for not watching the show.
Right? That was huge.
She's not only a woman, but she's got more sense than us.
Right? You know, when Whitney comes on, we see them reunited. She had a beautiful dress on, by the way. Looked awesome. Was so cute. They hadn't seen each other forever. But they admitted that they had kind of snuck off and kind of seen each other since the show wrapped, which is a big no-no. You know, I get it because Arlington is so far out of the way. I'm assuming she could go there and not be seen, so.
This is exactly why we didn't see a lot of Marcus and Lacey during Bachelor in Paradise. Because seeing people happy and in love is boring TV.
Not for me.
I know.
And
Once
not
again,
for that entire studio audience.
And what did I say? This show is for you. Jimmy Kimmel. Does he do hair plugs?
I don't know, but why is he there?
Because the top of that boy's head is not right.
Why is he there? We're saying again.
And also, as I said in the first episode of this season, throwing Juan Pablo under the bus never gets old.
I know.
The cow, it's like, yeah, we named him Juan Pablo. Really? Can we move on?
I know.
Note to Fearless Host, in regards to this planned Bachelorette election process.
So stupid.
What exactly do you mean by unprecedented? Season 6 of The Bachelor had one of these similar situations.
Yeah, the identical situation.
With Jay Overby and Byron Velvick.
Yes, I remember this well.
Byron Velvick was eventually chosen.
I know, because I wanted it to be Jay.
Oh, you wanted it to be Jay?
Oh,
okay.
Yes, honey, he was fine.
Okay.
I loved him.
Byron proposed to Mary Delgado at the end of the season, and 2 years later, Mary was arrested on a battery charge for punching Velvick in the mouth and giving him a bloody lip.
Yeah, it was bad.
And then later that year, she was arrested again on charges of disorderly conduct, public intoxication, and resisting arrest.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Now that's an after the final rose.
This stupid idea with Britt and Caitlyn, I'm sorry, but the studio audience did not want Britt. Did you hear them? It was like, Caitlyn, yeah, yay! Clap, 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 applause. Britt.
Caitlyn had the full-on sideways mouth.
Of
walking
course
to the
she
stage,
did.
Holding Britt. Okay, how much you want to bet the time between Caitlyn finding out that it was going to be a Bachelorette battle with Britt and her walking out on stage with her was less than 12 hours?
You think so?
Oh, yeah. I think she got dropped, that little bombshell,
Man, it was
shortly before
bad.
The show went on the air.
You could see it all over her face, and, I mean, you can't even compare the two. All right, so you're just as disappointed as me, which is good. On that, we agree.
You have to care to be disappointed. I'm not surprised. The only thing I'm disappointed at is that they didn't take my idea when I heard about the thing in the first place. Because when I heard that there were going to be 2 Bachelorettes, I thought that there were going to be actually 2 Bachelorettes for the entire run of the show.
No, it's just the first night.
Nah, see, that's boo-boo. See, what they need to do is they need to have 2 Bachelorettes for the whole run of the show, and then they pick their dudes. Britt gets some roses, Caitlyn gets some roses. And then it's kind of like they have to get their man and so forth.
They kind of do it like they do on Bachelor Pad, where there's kind of the voting room where you go in and you pick the picture of the one you want and you put it in the box. And
Interesting.
That's like your way of voting. So I'm assuming they're going to do it something like that, but we'll see.
I know Caitlyn is not down for this bullshit.
Right? I wouldn't be either.
If I were her, to quote Robin Harris, I would be pissed off to the highest of pistivity. To close the evening,
Yes.
I have 2 major announcements.
Okay.
The first announcement, Farmer is going to be on season 20 of Dancing with the Stars.
Of course he is. You know I'm going to be watching.
I know you are. I know you are.
I love the fact that I am so predictable with you. It's sort of
It's part of your
comforting.
charm.
It's sort of
It's
comforting.
part of your charm. I know you and I still hang out. So
Oh, thank you for just agreeing to be my friend.
And the second major announcement is that we have just completed our 100th episode on Did You Watch It?
Yay! Seriously? That's awesome! Yay, us.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We have to congratulate Izzy, too.
To Isabel, to Dr. J,
Yeah.
all those who made it possible.
Woot woot!
Thank you. And hopefully there will be 100 more.
That's our time for today. You can follow us on Twitter at @DidTheLetterU_Watch_It. You can also find us at iTunes. Let us know what you think. Thank you for listening.